welcome to Scorched Earth. This is going to be a general reading, mid-month reading, in fact, for the sign of Gemini, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. If you don't know what your Moon or Ascendant signs are, have a look in the description box below. There's a link down there that will help you. And thank you to everyone for your continued support, for your subscribes, your likes, shares, comments, donations, messages, all of it. I appreciate the shit out of every last one of you. So, I'm using the Lost Forest deck because I got it out of the box to do the walkthrough video, which is in a playlist somewhere on the channel, and then I just haven't used it. It's almost so beautiful that I can barely bring myself to use it. So well, it's not just art, it's a tool. I must get over this. So I'm using it for readings this month, if I can keep it in my hands. Right. I'm doing extendeds for all the signs that didn't get them at the beginning of the month or last time. So yeah, have a look in the description box if you're interested in that. If the message has resonated, you can go over there and have a look at that. So could I have 3 cards for Gemini's energy right now? Where's Gemini at, please? Oh. Keen to talk, Gemini? Oh, wait, there's the first one. Right. We've got the 2 of Earth, which is the 2 of Pentacles in a standard deck. Where's Gemini right now? We've got the Star. That's the card of Aquarius in the Major Arcana. Oy. And one last card for Gemini. What's going on with Gemini right now? Can I even see where it went? 6 of Cups. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck we've got this Temperance, which is the card of Sagittarius, followed by the 4 of Swords, and that's really, really interesting because both of those I associate with healing. Right, this one particularly with kind of withdrawing to heal. It can be the meditation card sometimes, but the Temperance card talks about healing and balance, and it's really interesting that should have come up when the 2 of Pentacles, which is here, 2 of Earth, is your first card, and that also talks about a balance or a need for balance potentially. Now there are 2 foxes on this card. And it feels like this is you and someone else. And it feels like it's probably somebody from the past that you're thinking about, because we've got the 6 of Oceans, which is the 6 of Cups, which for me is very much the card of the past. It can talk about childhood sometimes. And it can sometimes talk about past lives, but the important bit of it all is that it is time that has gone, that is here no more. Yeah. And I seem to recall from your previous reading there was the possibility of somebody coming back in that you'd had some sort of dalliance with, or some, to a greater or lesser degree, either a really established relationship or just a connection that kind of went out. But this looks like a male and a female fox to me. It's a pair, and this seems to be what it is that you're trying to achieve some balance about. And I keep using the word trying because I don't think that you're quite there yet for some reason. I don't know why, but that's how I feel about it. It's something that you're working on, right? It's very much an progress kind of feeling. And the second card that you've got is the Star. Now, as well as being the card of Aquarius, and if you're dealing with Aquarius, all well and good, but if you're not, it's also a card of healing, right? Just as Temperance is. It can be a card of hope, but ultimately for me it's a card of trust and of faith, because when you follow your guiding star, you have to have trust and faith in that guiding star, that it's going to take you where you need to go, right? Because if you didn't trust it, you wouldn't follow it. With this, it's feeling very much like like you're trying very hard to have hope and to have faith that something's going to work its way out, you know, whether you're working it out or whether you're waiting for a circumstance to work its way out, right? You're not currently sat in an energy of pure trust, right? There's some worry that's going along with it. It's feeling like trying to have hope rather than achieving it, just as it's trying to achieve balance without necessarily achieving it at the moment, right? The intent is there, but the execution is missing somewhere, I feel. And then we're back to the Six of Cups. You know, this is a past person, a past situation, a past something, which is what is putting you in this state at the moment. Right. I feel like the Four of Skies, you know, or the Four of Swords, and the Temperance card are here is because you acknowledge somewhere in you that there is a need for this to occur. Even if it isn't quite happening yet, it's something that you're trying to do. We're looking at these leaves blowing in the wind. If the camera can pick it up there, you know, and it does feel rather like you're being tossed about at the whim of your emotions and your feelings at the moment. Hence why you're trying to equalize yourself, you're trying to level yourself out, trying to bring balance to yourself. Right, let's see what's coming towards Gemini, please. What's coming towards Gemini? I'm not going to take that because it fell. I'll try to jump. It's coming towards Gemini. First card that you've got is the Ace of Fire. You see that egg sat there, primed and ready to hatch. Back on there. There you go. What's coming towards Gemini, please? Fucking what? Right. I swear to God, Gemini, you're so keen to talk, but it's just... What's coming towards Gemini? King of Cups. Right, okay. So, what's coming towards you is the Ace of Fire, which is the Ace of Wands, the Eight of Skies, which is the Eight of Swords, and who's this? King of Cups. All right. So, we'll take these in turn and then look at them together. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the Four of Fire, which is the Four of Wands, and that is my card of home, whether that's a person or a place or a circumstance. You know, fill in the gaps, see what it means to you. I mean, it's the Twin Flame card too. I'm just wondering whether to go into some of them. It's interesting, like this card keeps coming out, and before I started recording the readings today, I was kind of I just sort of wandered off in a daydream like I do occasionally, and I was kind of thinking about this card quite a lot, and how in addition to all the things that I usually attribute to the Four of Wands, it's also for me a portal, right, into something new, but it's something that you need to walk through. Now it's interesting because it's come out for every reading that I've done today, which is odd because I was thinking about it beforehand. Now, directly underneath that, we've got the Queen of Skies, which is the Queen of Swords, and it's like, I'm feeling a push-pull energy here. I feel like the heart is pulling in one way and the mind is pulling in another. And we're back to this balance, this need for balance and this hope, trying desperately to hope that everything's just going to work its way out. Again, anyway. The first card that you've got is the Ace of Fire, and like I said, this is it contains the infinite potentiality of the fire suit, right? So it's creativity, it's passion, it's spontaneity, it's anything that makes your blood run hot, right? And this is a new opportunity for that, whether it comes in the guise of a new relationship, and that's absolutely possible with what, you know, we've got out on the table here. But I feel hope again with this. I don't know if it's because the colouring is so similar. Yeah, these cards look almost like they could carry on from one another. Like the really, they flow into each other very nicely. They've got similar colours, and it's the hope of something igniting. Right now, it can often indicate sexual relationships. That's the thing with the Ace of Fires. Not so much in this card, but in other depictions, it's, you know, nicknamed the Dick card. You can see why. But I feel hope of this again. I feel hope for the hatching of this egg into something more tangible. It could just be that it's somebody that you've got chemistry with, or this could be this person from the past that you're hoping to reignite things with. Now, unfortunately, what we have directly after it is the Eight of Skies, and that is the Ace of Swords in a standard deck. Now, like, there's quite a static feel to that card, and that is essentially the underlying meaning of the card. It talks about feeling stagnant and feeling trapped. But more often than not, it's trapped by the contents of your own head. And Gemini, you are very prone to getting trapped in your own head by your own thoughts, you know, overthinking. Did we not talk about this last time? I think that we might have done. You know, this notion that you kind of get stuck in a loop of overthinking so as to avoid what is underneath. And what I feel is underneath for you is this hope. And does it have a basis? Like, this is what I feel. I'm not sure that your hope does have a basis in reality, but you're kind of avoiding that altogether and overthinking the shit out of something else. So tell me what Gemini is overthinking about, please. There's some more for the Eight of Skies. Two of Cups, a relationship. We've got cards that have fallen here. Eight of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords again, which is the same card as this, the Eight of Skies. It's just feeling trapped. It's wanting really hard to work on something. You know, put in the effort to something to make something work. Right? Feeling trapped. And then the Justice card, which is, you know, it's about doing the right thing in the most basic sense of it. But it's for you, I feel like there's a karmic aspect to it. You know, this is a karmic relationship that you are struggling with here at the moment, and whether the karmic aspect of it is to make you realize that you don't need this person, that you're whole and complete all by yourself, and so it acts as a trigger, or whether this is somebody coming in who's right for you is not immediately apparent, but you are feeling stuck. And I just noticed here we've got this Temperance card on the bottom of the deck, followed immediately by the Ace of Wands. Again, right, there's this hope. And before I pull any more cards, I just want to say, like, what's for you won't go by you, right? So overthinking isn't helpful at this point. And whether this person is here to have a relationship with you, or whether they are to act as a trigger for you to evolve and change and grow, like, both of those things are a gift. And whilst one of them on the face of it is more preferable than the other, it being a trigger point to help you grow and evolve and all that kind of thing, ultimately is probably better for you in the long run, you know, in terms of your personal growth, than it being somebody who you can spend the rest of your life with, right? That's just my personal opinion, and I haven't pulled any more cards, so, like, I just want to throw it in there just in case one of you Geminis needed to hear it. Tell me more about this Eight of Swords, please. King of Pentacles. Now this could be a Taurus. Right? It could also be a Virgo or a Capricorn, but strictly for me, the King of Pentacles is a Taurus, and this then speaks about you feeling stuck with your relationship towards a Taurus. If it's not an earth sign that you know, and it doesn't have to be male because tarot doesn't give a shit about gender, then it's somebody who demonstrates those kind of aspects that we associate with the King of Earth. So it's somebody who's reliable, it's somebody who's dependable, somebody who's quite slow moving and, you know, believes in stepped progression and all that kind of thing, maybe a little bit focused on work, but, you know, ultimately kind of somebody who's got their shit in order, generally speaking. Like, if it had come out in reverse, then we'd be dealing with an altogether different kettle of fish. But whether it's a Taurus or whether it's someone like that, this is what's leaving you feeling stuck. I am going to do an extended on this, and the link will be in the description box below, because I want to, well, I seem to recall a Taurian. I don't know if a Taurian came up in the reading or somebody commented underneath the last reading that there was a Taurus that they were dealing with, and that's why it's stuck in my head. I don't know, but we're going to go into it in the extended, so we'll try and have a look and see where they're coming from, what they're hoping to achieve, and all that kind of, you know, business. But then we've got this here, and this here is strictly Scorpio, but it doesn't have to be. Like, it doesn't have to be just Scorpio. It could be Cancer or Pisces, or it could just be, you know, somebody who is emotionally mature and available, and all of these kind of cool things. Or it could be an energy. Now, the Ace of Fire, the Ace of Wands, is quite positive in terms of relationship readings. The King of Cups is very positive in terms of, you know, relationship readings. These two together are a really good basis for moving forwards. You know, you've got the passion and the you know, the chemistry and all the sexy things that go with it from here, but you've also got somebody who understands their own emotions, doesn't hide, doesn't run away from them. You know, somebody who is not only willing to give but also to receive and not feel, you know, in any way diminished by that, right? So why, oh why, oh why are you feeling trapped? Because you are. We'll pull a couple of cards for this King of Cups and see if we can work out why. If not, it might be something that we need to drill into in the extended a bit more. What about this King of Cups? This is King of Cups here, Gemini. Oh my word, I can barely believe it. The three cards that have dropped out are Temperance, card of Sagittarius, Justice, the card of Libra, and the Eight of Swords. Again, why are you feeling trapped? Because you're feeling trapped. You know, there's a need to heal here. I'm seeing that very clearly. And there are very strong karmic overtones with this. If you're not dealing with a Libra, then it is absolutely a karmic overtone. Karmic relationship of some description. So, feeling trapped. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to pull some, we're at 18 minutes already, so we're going to pull some cards of advice, and then I'm going to skedaddle straight over to Vimeo and do this extended, because I think that this needs kind of taking apart a little bit. If this is resonating with you, then there's quite a lot to look at, and it's kind of outside the parameters of what I set for the mid-month readings. So if you're interested, come and have a look. Now I have three cards of advice for Gemini, please. Oh, there's the first one. Page of Cups, or the Page of Oceans as it is. This is small expressions of love. For me, quite often this is an apology, right? And did that not come up for you last time? I feel like it probably did, actually. This advice. Justice. Oh, and the Nine of Pentacles, right. At the bottom of the deck now we've got the Hierophant, which talks about stability and structure. You know, it can sometimes talk about marriage. It can talk about any kind of institution, really, whether that's, you know, a business or a school or a university or, you know, church, or, you know, more kind of like societal institutions like marriage, or, you know, sometimes divorce. That can be that as well. But it's very traditional, and it's very slow and rigid, that kind of thing. It's a sense of doing things as they've always been done, or feeling like doing them as you feel like you should be done. I mean, it's also quite a spiritual card as well. And it could be, with the Justice card coming up twice now, well, 3 times strictly, as it is, that this is a burgeoning kind of spiritual awakening. Like, this is a trigger point. Once you deal with this, then you move up a level, right? That's possible. But the point is, right, 3 cards of advice. 1 is Major Arcana, and it's the Justice card. Like I said, this Page of Oceans, Page of Cups, quite often for me is an apology. Now, I feel almost certain that this came up for you last time, and this was something that I told you to watch out for because I didn't strictly trust it, right? I feel like the advice hasn't changed, right? Don't accept things as they appear on the surface. Notice how this little seal's diving down, right? It's not a fish flopping about in a cup. This is diving down into the ocean, right? Like, avoid the surface, look beneath. And then Justice. Again, right? Karmic. But it also talks about doing things, like I said, doing them properly, making sure that you are doing things properly. Like, it's the card of Libra too. And it's a pillar card, just like the Hierophant is usually. Like, both of these are usually depicted with pillars on the side. And there's a framework, there's a structure with the pillar cards. You know? Things that exist, and then, you know, stuff works out. The pillar cards are like a box, right? You know, so everything that the pillar card talks about exists only within that box. And then there are some things that sit outside of the box. You know, I would say that the High Priestess sits outside of the box, and the Magician sits outside of the box. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but it feels like the situation that you're dealing with now, as is in your little box, right? It feels like it's a means to expand out of the box, whether that is because you're taking up with someone and starting a new relationship, or because you really, really want to, but then it doesn't happen and you learn something from that, you know, whichever way around it is for you. And then we've got the 9 of Earth, which is the 9 of Pentacles in a standard deck. And this is, for me, the card of self-sufficiency. It's the card of being able to look after your own needs, right? Your own resources, all that kind of thing, in whatever way they appear to you. So that's paying your own bills, certainly, enjoying your own company, you know. It's quite the reverse of any kind of feelings of dependency. And I'm getting some feelings of dependency from here just because of the sheer amount of underlying kind of almost desperation that I'm feeling from the rest of the read. It's talking about pulling all of your energy back into yourself. I don't even know if the camera can pick it up, but there's this kind of gleaming, it almost looks like what's that Pokemon? Ninetales. And a Alolan Ninetales, I think, something like that. It's cool as fuck, but it's just sitting there being all majestic and shit, right? And it's not dependent on anyone. It doesn't require anything from anyone in order for it to live its best life. If it's going to take up with anyone, it's going to be another Alolan Ninetales that's just as fucking hot as it is, you know, just as capable, all of these kind of things. There's no reliance on each other here. Pull your energy back into yourself. Right? All this hope that you're kind of pushing out into the universe. I feel like there's an aspect of you kind of not taking care of your own needs first, and that is important. That is something that you should do. So I'm going to leave it there, Gemini. Like I said, if you want to join me for the extended, the link's down in the description box. But otherwise, I'll see you next time. Take care.